Joined by Kate O'Brien, the Director of the World Health Organization's Department of Immunisation, Vaccines and Biologicals. Kate, if I could just start with the fact that in the UK we are already vaccinating people, but yesterday there were what has been described by one of those in charge of the programme as some slightly extreme allergic reactions. Does that mean, do you think, which is what some people would fear, that we're still learning about the effects of these vaccines because the trials have been shorter than would normally be the case?
The trials that have been done on these vaccines, and the one in particular that's being rolled out in the UK now, the Pfizer vaccine, have included tens of thousands of people, notwithstanding the large number of people that have been included in these trials. As vaccines do get deployed in a very large number of people in routine use, there will be some responses and some reactions, some of which may be related to the vaccine and others not. So it's really the responsibility and the program in the UK that will be assessing these and taking appropriate action.
But there's nothing that you've heard of so far that would give you cause for concern?
No, this is obviously in the very early days of rolling out a vaccine, and I really want to emphasize that the trials that have been done are large in nature, and so there are tens of thousands of people who have been immunized with these vaccines already. And as they do get rolled out in any vaccine introduction program, we do expect to learn more about vaccines as they're deployed. So this is part of the process of introducing a new vaccine. And some reactions may occur among people. They're usually mild reactions, and we will find out more about the vaccine as it gets deployed. But there's full readiness for dealing with and addressing reactions that may happen.
Now, obviously, and this has been, I'm afraid, a feature of our world for many, many years now, there is an anti-vax movement. Therefore, it is really important that people feel confident that the vaccine is safe. How should those in charge of vaccination programmes, in a sense, boost people's confidence that they're not taking a silly risk?
The most important thing about vaccines and vaccine safety is that we're communicating all of the information that we have about vaccines. When people are confident that they are getting accurate information and they're getting full information about vaccines, then they do have confidence that the program and the system is doing what it needs to do to protect their health and to assure that we're providing the safest vaccines that we have. Any vaccine has gone through a benefit risk assessment. And just like other products that we use on a daily basis, when you get in your car, there is you do your own benefit risk assessment of the importance of taking that ride in the car, and you understand that there is some low but non-zero risk every time you get in the car, and the same with everything that we do in life. So I think people understand this. I think people do understand that the benefit of vaccines is what we're looking at, and the limited but non-zero risk that is there means that there are going to be some reactions to vaccines, but the benefit that is conferred well outweighs those risks.
Now, we've got very encouraging trials from 3 vaccines, but what we know so far is that they certainly suppress the symptoms and protect the people who have been given the vaccines. When do you think we'll know whether they stop the transmission of the virus?
So, in fact, there are now as of today, there are 5 vaccines that have publicly announced efficacy trial results. Not all of these have gone through a regulatory process yet, but we're looking to see the data. We're in an unusual time where we're having scientific results by press release because the public is so interested in knowing the very early results. It's so important that when we have public results, the public does understand that the entirety of the data needs to be evaluated by regulators and by policymakers. the question of when we're going to learn more about these vaccines, the vaccines that have had efficacy trial results offered publicly are really the results around prevention of disease. And of course, that's exactly what we want the vaccines to do. We also do want the vaccines to prevent infection, regardless of whether you get ill from that infection or not, because if those vaccines can prevent infection, they will be able to prevent you from transmitting it to somebody else, and that will break the chain of transmission. We don't have that information about the vaccines that have demonstrated efficacy results, except for the AstraZeneca vaccine, where there is some report from the investigators of some level of reduction in transmission, although they have not provided the full details of that yet. So we're waiting eagerly to find out about whether these vaccines can also protect against getting infected with the coronavirus. And the way that that might happen is either protecting against actually acquiring the infection or shortening the duration that you're actually infected, or it could also just reduce the density of the infection that you have. So those are the kinds of information that are yet to come.
People are desperately interested to know when life will feel more normal. You're the great expert on vaccines and vaccination programs. Do you think by the summer, quite a lot of the world will feel more normal again?
No, we're going to be in short supply from a global perspective, at least through the last half of 2021. I think getting back to normal is going to be a gradual process. It's not going to be suddenly we're all back to normal. But I think we have great hope that by the end of 2021, there will be a substantial change in what's happening. The most important thing is to get these vaccines out and to continue the other public health interventions that are proving very effective when they're actually used. So physical distancing, wearing masks when you have to be indoors, hand washing, being in ventilated spaces, all of the things that we've been saying throughout this pandemic.
Marvellous. Listen, it's great to talk to you. I found that absolutely gripping, and we'd love to have you back on again soon.
Thanks for your time.